Hi everyone, this is Anna from Koala Soap. I found a mold that I wanted. It was a curved mold, and it was a really cool design, but it's really hard to find. I'm having a difficult time finding it, so I'm improvising. So what I've done is our regular mold that we use, and then there's also this Crafter's Choice mold. And what I saw some people do, I guess, is they were just kind of like laying the impression mat like this, but I think with the weight of the soap, it would make it square. So I found these. They're taco shell holders, and they will fit. They're curved, and they will fit here, and they'll actually support a curve. So I'm laying them in there. I'll leave the link below as always. So what I could do now is I'm thinking I can lay this in there, and no matter what the weight of the soap, it'll still stay curved. The good thing is on this one, if you use this mold from Crafter's Choice mold 1501, it'll still work, I think. I'm not even sure if this is going to work at all, but we're going to try it in this mold. As long as you can maybe keep them centered. Oops, I think it's going to go this way. Yes, centered. I don't know if you can see that when you pour. So what I have is one of the impression mats, and I cut it to 10 inches by 7.5 inches. So it will fit in both molds, okay? This long ways will go this way, short way it will go this way. I wouldn't try it in our little sample test mold because it's hard to get things out of it as it is. And I think that when you put, even though these will fit, it will make it bow, as you can see. And it'll be really hard to get it out. And I just don't think it'll work for this. Again, I don't know if it's going to work at all, but we're going to give it a shot. So I'm going to use this mold. This is approximately 10 inches by 2.75 inches. You get it off of Amazon. And I'm going to use this kind of pattern, which I'm hoping you can see it's really tiny, because I'm hoping that the colors will actually collect in there. I originally wanted to use this here because I think it's just so much prettier. The problem is the actual design of the leaves is elevated. So I wanted to put a green, and the problem is the leaves wouldn't be green. So I'm going to actually do a reverse of this maybe tomorrow if this one works, and we'll figure it out. So go ahead and get an impression mat, cut it down to 10 inches by 7.5 inches. I'll put that down below in the links. Use this mold. This is what we're going to use today. I have my alcohol. We're going to go ahead and get going. Okay, so this is now melted. It's still in the I think 160s right now, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to be using Brambleberry Aqua Pearl Mica for my green. And I'm going to go ahead and mix that. And what we're going to do is just the top layer right now to start while this is cooling down. I'm going to be using, as far as my scent goes, pumpkin from Holly Jolly. I'm not a big pumpkin fan, but this doesn't really smell like a pumpkin, but it is a nice holiday scent. So we're going to use it. Okay. We're going to mix this up nicely. We have our spatula. Remember, we don't want to use the hard cutter knife. We want to use something soft and pliable. So where are we at right now? Let's see. So we're almost there. We're going to give this a few more minutes to cool down, then we'll start mixing everything in. Okay, while that's cooling down, I measured how much liquid this would actually take, and it was approximately 5 cups. When you put these in, of course you're not going to use the whole 5 cups because you're going to have the difference here. You'll see what I mean in a second. So what I did was I cut up the shea butter, approximately 5 cups full. Once this melts down, I'll add, and I might actually break it up because just because it's going to be a lot of soap to have in this. So I just want to let you know, so about 5 cups of shea butter, and then just about 1 cup of the clear melt and pour. Okay, so this is in the 140s, mid 140s, so I added a little bit of the pumpkin patch. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in our mica that we mixed with alcohol. Okay. We don't want it to really have too much of a skin on it because of what we're going to be doing next. We're just going to mix that in nicely. Okay, now we're going to take our alcohol and we're going to squirt our mat. Okay, and now we're going to pour onto our mat. And remember, we will have this silicone mat underneath it so we can salvage our soap after that. And remember, the majority of your pattern is going to be here because you're going to actually have some that's going to overflow. So concentrate on getting it in the middle. If you can get the whole mat, even better. We have a little bit of skin going on already. And then what we're going to do is we want to just lightly rub it off the mat. You just want a nice thin layer. It cools down pretty fast. And if you see some bald spots in there, this has a really small design in it. I think tomorrow we're going to try a different design, but this will be good just to see if it works. We're kind of doing a couple things in this one. So while letting that dry, we're going to go ahead and take our taco. I broke one by accident. I have to be careful. So I'm going to put one in the middle. I think 4 would probably be better, but I seem to have lost one. And we're going to set it like that. And we're going to go ahead and get our shea butter ready and heated and almost ready to go. And then we'll be back. Okay, so this dried out. So we're going to go ahead and, one of the things I forgot, let me grab a knife. Okay, so when you're taking this design off, because when you peel up, it's possible you might peel some of the design. So you want to cut along the mat with the butter knife or any kind of knife. And sometimes I go on top, but that way you can kind of lift it out without lifting your design out. And then we'll go ahead and place it . Again, I don't know if this is going to work, so we'll see. Just an idea that I had. And I had mat left over, so I thought, well, let's try it. Okay. So it's dry. I got a little bit of shea butter on there, but it's going to be shea buttered anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. So now we're going to take our mat, squirt it with some alcohol, take our mold, and we're going to set it gently as best we can in the center. Push down just a little bit. Let's see, make sure it has a curve. You want to make sure that if you didn't cut evenly, just make sure that you have it's an even amount sticking up so that when you pour your shea butter in, it will be covered with the design. Okay, so our shea butter, I'm going to split it in two just because it's a lot. I'm not sure what it's at right now, so we will see. I don't want to split it in two just yet because, again, I want to try something again and we'll see if it gets destroyed. Okay, so 146, so that's not bad. I kind of want to pour this colder though because I don't want to pour it so hot that it melts the design off. Now this is a very light design. I don't know if it'll work, but when we peel it off, because there's not that much soap in those crevices, I'm worried that this will mix with it if it's too warm. I'm going to maybe go down, well, I'm going to see how the skin is, and then we'll go from there. So once it's cooled down enough, I'll let you know what the temperature I'm pouring at, and we'll go from there. Okay, so now we're 125 right now. So what we're gonna do is I've already added in my pumpkin patch scent. Okay, and that was from Barnhouse Blue. So we're gonna give it a stir. I'm actually gonna split it. We are at 127. So I'm gonna get my Stardust Mica ready. This is red strawberry. I have distilled water ready. I'm going to attempt to do something, but we'll see if it works. So it's in distilled water, and the reason I use distilled water when I'm gonna mix this is I don't want it to just dissipate in the soap. Gavin is sneaking up on us as we speak here.
So what you making?
I'm gonna try and make a swirl here, but I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Okay. He's getting ready to go hockey skating, so we're gonna let this cool down while we're at the ice rink. Okay. Okay, and we are gonna pour just a little bit of this in our funnel mold. Just a little. Okay. Oops. Oh boy, I made a mess. Oh well. Okay. Want it to just be a little bit cooler, I think. Still feels warm, but we'll see. 125. This is going to cool down a lot faster. 123. Okay, let's just give this a couple more degrees and then we'll go ahead and put it into the mold. Okay, so we are in the 120s. We're going to go ahead and pour this. So I'm going to bring the mold here. We're going to squirt the inside with alcohol again. Okay, and then we are going to pour. Hopefully this works. Okay. Okay. Let's squirt that with alcohol. And then what we're going to do here, see what it's at. 119 and 120. Okay, so this is going to cool down a lot as soon as I put this in there. So I don't want to mess with this at all. And of course, even though I put 5 cups in, you could see that it kind of went around and underneath. That's okay. I expect this isn't airtight and it is an experiment. If anyone comes up with a better way of doing this, I'm all ears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with the distilled water, and I only poured out, I'm not sure, probably about 1.5 cups. So, I'll put that here. I'm going to take a pipette, squirt it in hard. Not a lot, just a little. I'm going to do this once. This is where it's going to get a little messy, but that's okay. And then I'm going to pour in the middle, Okay. You have a squirt with alcohol, and we're just going to let it set and see how it goes. Okay, believe it's finished, and we'll go ahead and unmold it. I guess we'll take it out of this first. Okay, we're going to loosen it here, and then we're going to loosen it here, because remember, we know that some soap went underneath because it wasn't end to end like that. Okay. Well, so far so good. Now what we want to do here is, because we don't want to break these are just plastic, we're going to carefully loosen the soap here. So we'll just kind of put it in our little thingy here as extra. We'll loosen it here. Try and loosen the taco holders a little bit here, just lifting up on the orange tabs. You just have to be careful because it is plastic and they will break. Okay, so that side is loosened. Okay, so there's a lot of extra soap on here that went underneath, and that's fine. We can clean that up and save it. But let's see how the design looks. Not sure how I do this without hurting it. Okay. We went for a little bit of a swirl there. It didn't quite work out, but if you look, that design is really pretty. I'm not sure I'm going to try to do a swirl the next time. And then what we'll do is let's cut it up a little bit and see how it looks on the inside. It's a little cold because I have it in the fridge. So you have a little pink swirl in there, and that's the top. Okay, so what I would suggest on this is, even though we have like a little cool gradient of color, less is better. So I would definitely probably not try to do a swirl inside unless you want it to be a real faint one, because the design on top looks really, really nice. So the next one I do is going to be without any kind of swirling action. But it's really pretty, this design on top. Oops. And so up here, I don't know, I'm not a fan of it, but I do like the rest of it. It looks very delicate. And then of course on the sides we're going to have to clean it up a little bit too. Either with a beveler or a vegetable peeler. But you know, actually what I'm even thinking is, even if you didn't do any color, just that intricate design on top would look really nice. I'm not a fan of the red on top, but it was a good experiment and we now know what we can do. So the next one I'm going to do it without any additional color on the inside. We should have just left it, but I'm really glad I did it. So now we know we can do this. We don't have to spend money on that other mold when I can use taco holders. Okay, so I think we're going to do this again. I'm not sure if we're going to use the same mat or a different one. I kind of want to see how the other one is going to look. Doesn't look bad. Again, I just don't like the red on top. The design on the side, this will all be cleaned off. This was part of this is the end piece, so it can be cleaned off. But I really do like the design on top. And actually, really, some of these don't look so bad, but I just kind of like this more. I just kind of like the less is more thing going on. We'll just clean it up on the ends. Okay, so happy holidays. This is Anna from Koala Soap, and we will see you next time.